Hi, Paul Sculthorpe here. I've been asked by Rugby AM to select my all-time 1 to 13 that I've played with, which is no doubt going to be difficult. To start with, number 1, I've gone for Paul Wellens, an absolute legend of a player. You know, Mr. Consistent, but you know the thing with Wello, consistently brilliant week in, week out. You know, either for club and for country. You know, it's a tough call. Obviously played with Chris Radlinski a lot at international level, and you know, Radders is right up there with Wellens. Obviously, you know, probably a bit of a Saints bias there, but I've gone for Paul Wellens. Winger, I've gone for Jason Robinson. Played with Jason at England, and you know, the guy's an absolute freak. You know, he could do anything in the game. You know, the best footwork that I've ever seen. You know, agility wise, and you know, probably today Jason could still do the business. Obviously went on to bigger things in rugby union as well. World Cup winner, and you know, just he's one of those who could play any sport. He's just got the ability and the agility and the speed to cause anybody's problems. Centre, this is probably the toughest call. I've been spoilt playing with some great centres throughout certainly my time at St Helens and also at international level. First one I've gone for is Paul Newlove. You know, he was a world record signing for Saints, and you know, obviously on that left flank when I joined Saints in '98. You know, somebody that big and that strong shouldn't be able to run that quick, and you know, Newey again, you know, agility wise, you know, always taking people down that left edge was unbelievable, and you know, he's posted some tries for Saints over the years, and you know, he's a great fella to play alongside. The other centre, you know, notable mentions for, you know, Martin Gleeson, Matt Gidley, Keith Senior, you know, Gary Conley, but I've gone for Jamie Lyon. You know, Jamie was only 2 years at Saints in 2005 and 6, and I think absolutely set Super League on fire. I remember picking him. Me and Paul Wellens picked Jamie up from Manchester Airport when he first come over, and we thought, what the hell have we signed here? You know, he was overweight, and you know, within a couple of weeks he was absolutely flying, and as I say, caused major problems for all the oppositions within Super League, and you know, he'll always be a Saints great. Second winger, I've gone for Darren Albert. Obviously played with Albie at Saints. You know, he was a grand final winner in the NRL with Newcastle Knights. For me, you know, just the attributes of a winger. You know, probably the quickest man that I've ever played alongside. And you know, when you've got somebody in your team that quick, you know, you can do all sorts. And you know, Albie was a revelation in Super League, and you know, just a great player to have on our Saints team, and you know, a great fella as well. Standoff, I've gone for Danny Maguire. Again, another tough call. You know, playing alongside the likes of Tommy Martin, Leon Price, but Mags, you know, I played with Danny at England and Great Britain. I think one of the standout players of the Super League era, certainly for Leeds, and been a big part of their successes. Again, all the facets of the game, you know, he could create, and you know, born finisher. I think one of the most prolific try scorers in rugby league history, and you know, he's again another great fella. Scrum half, I've gone for Sean Long. You know, the mercurial Sean Long. You know, playing alongside Longy at Saints. You know, he's won us so many games, so many big games. You know, he is a big game player. You know, he could direct a team, you know, around, and he was one who was never shy. He was never the biggest, but certainly not shy of getting stuck in. And but you know, the way he led the team, and as I say, you know, coming up with the big players when it mattered. You know, you look at the grand final, '99 against Bradford, kicking the goal, 2002 kicking a drop goal against Bradford, and you know, we can keep going on. You know, the drop goals against Warrington last minute. You know, he's just a mercurial player, and you know, certainly one of the best that I've been fortunate to play alongside. First prop, I've gone for Adrian Morley. You know, what a absolute legend in rugby league. You know, on both sides of the hemisphere. Obviously, a grand final winner in the NRL and in Super League. You know, I've played alongside Moz from being 9 years old, and you know, he's never been any different. You know, he's 100% body on the line and hits you with everything he's got. And you know, he's had his disciplinary issues over the years, and you know, he's certainly not shy in whacking people. But you know, when he's on your team, he's the first one you want. And as I say, you know, as regards to, you know, lads, he's up there with the best of them. Hooker, I've gone for Kieran Cunningham. Obviously, notable mentions for Terry Newton and Jimmy Lowes as well. You know, played alongside them at international level. But Kieran, you know, Mr. Consistency again, consistently well for Saints, and you know, just the level that Kieran played at, I think, you know, up to 500 games for Saints, and, you know, just put his body on the line, you know, week in, week out, and, you know, creative, and you know, one of the strongest men, you know, that I've ever had the pleasure to play with, and unfortunately play against as well during my time for Warrington. You know, he is a St Helens legend. You know, probably the #1 legend. You know, is why we have a statue of Kieran outside the stadium, and, you know, just a phenomenal player. Second prop, I've gone for David Fairley. This might surprise a few people. It won't surprise the Saints fans. You know, we only had 1 year with Dave in 2001. This guy made a massive impact on me as a player, how to be, you know, the ultimate professional. You know, everything he did was to be the best out on the field, and a phenomenal player. You know, one of the first props, you know, really to use a ball, and you know, had so much skill, but, you know, could run over people as well, and certainly whack on defence. But, you know, for me, it was more the attitude thing, and the impact he had on his teammates as well. You know, phenomenal player. Second row, I've gone for Jamie Peacock. You know, doesn't need any explaining. You know, Jamie's one of the legends of Super League and Rugby League, you know, worldwide, and, you know, just the level that JP played at, both at club level and international. You know, he's no surprise why he's been as successful as he has, you know, throughout his career. You know, a phenomenal footballer, and just an out-and-out competitor. Never took a backward step, and, you know, a legend of a bloke as well. Second row, it was a tough call. Two really that stand out. One was Lee Gilmore. You know, Gilly. You know, he's always one that I'd pick first in the team. He was, you know, an unbelievable athlete. You know, he's great character, but, you know, for me, a second row is somebody who can hit holes and run gaps and run lines and defend hard. And Gilly had that. You know, one of the quickest forwards in the game, certainly that I've played with, and a phenomenal competitor. But I've got to go for Chris Joint. Jointy was obviously skipper at the club when I joined. You know, great leader, and for me, a great leader is not only what he says but what he does. And Jointy was always one who led the way with his performance, and again, very much like Dave Fairley, had a big impact on my career in how to be an ultimate professional, and, you know, taught me a lot of things about when I stepped up to the captaincy in 2004, and, you know, another one very much like Longy, you know, come up with the big plays when they were needed. And for me, the biggest player ever in Rugby League, the wide to west try, Jointy will always be synonymous with that. Loose forward, I've gone for Andrew Farrell. You know, Faz is you know, unbelievable player. You know, to play alongside Andy at Great Britain was great for me as a player. You know, again, very much like Jointy, an ultimate leader, you know, on the field, and again led the way with his performance. You know, great talker, and, you know, I think he was always going to go on to big things in the coaching world, and obviously, you know, doing big things in rugby union now. You know, a highly skilled, you know, player, great passing game, great kicking game, obviously a great runner of the ball, and, as you say, you know, an ultimate competitor.